7:05, we can start. So first, I thank you very much for coming. It's very important first for these seminars. Thank you for spending the next hour or two with me. And I'll tell you, this is the information actually brand new. So before we start, I'll give you some background of myself. I think probably some of you knows a little bit about me already, but Pacify, I'm the owner of the Nose Junior Corporation. Before that, I have worked in the lab for 22 years, but officially it's 20.5 if I skip some time. So I worked in the Bioscience division, did the Human Genome Project, and eventually genome sequence, DNA, those kind of things. And before 1996, I worked in China, got my PhD in genetics, and then before that, I worked in a hospital for 4 years. I was trained as a medical doctor in China. So that's my study. All this background actually prepared me to study myself, come out with this theory that helped me and my family in allergy suffering. So I'll share with you some of the story. They are, what I can see is they are quite a blessing for me, actually. This is quite a big problem for the world. It has been a very blessing experience for me to get this current situation and knows why and how to deal with allergies, at least to my knowledge. So there are many things it's not under my control completely. There's some accident, looks like that. So I'll give you some detail later, but let me know you a little bit more. So how about, are you all working in the lab? How many work in the lab? Used to work in the lab, how about that? Okay, all right, that's quite a number, okay, all right. Have you, any of you study biology? Biology, one? Okay, or two over there. All right, so let's see, immunology, no, all right. So, and related to this topic then, how many of you have allergy or had allergy? Wow, that's almost everyone. Okay, autoimmune disease, a handful, okay, all right, so, and other related things, let's see, yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, so we can go forward. That's what you are interested in about allergies. So I want, this is the purpose, give you what's my understanding about allergy, how to deal with that, and why we have all these things. So before we start, this is the legal statement for anything like this. So I'm the owner of the company, and also if I talk about Allerpop, beware it has not been evaluated by FDA, and this is not to treat, diagnose, and cure or prevent any disease. And also if you apply any of these suggestions, it's better to talk with your doctor, get a second opinion. It's probably not hurting. So that's the statement. And so today we will talk two segments. One, the first one we'll talk about the theory and how I got there and why it works. And the second part is that we will talk about application. With that theory in hand, where we can apply that and to prevent allergy and autoimmune disease, and probably is, if we need it, boost our immune system for our benefit, things like that. So and also how to, there's a big section about how to raise a kid. Probably most of you you will not have kids, probably expecting grandkids or great-grandkids. So that's what I see. But that knowledge is important. I hope you can pass along and see it still works. Most of the recommendation, what I want to emphasize that they are not new. They are not new. This theory only gives you more scientific background to practice it. Historically, and they have been practiced many places. So let's go to the first section. Can you hear me well in the back? Okay. All right. So the first section we'll talk about the theory of negative trigger and how I got it. And we'll have the background and the result and the theory. And let me see. I hope we can finish that within 30 minutes. Okay? So this is the background. One slide for the background. So allergy, when did we have that epidemic? So historically, there's allergy everywhere, but a very small population. 1 or 2% of the population will have allergy in their historically. But you see this line, this blue line, went up in the 70 of last century. And so why is that? So at that, in the later 80s, actually a scientist from Britain, David Streptococcus, that's in the bottom, David Streptococcus, he actually, after study of many people, he proposed the hygiene hypothesis. So which means the society gets too clean. The family size gets smaller, and there's no sibling to play around, no dirt, things like those. That's all related. And the following study have been confirmed that association. It is the hygiene hypothesis. It is somehow it's true, but we don't know where is too clean. Okay, that's called general hygiene hypothesis. And later, when I involved in that, I gradually turn into a specific hypothesis, which is oral hygiene hypothesis. So that linked to a brief study of the data. Which is the yellow line that you can see. Those two lines are associated together almost very tightly. So that's the number of dental hygienists in the U.S. Okay, so this of course is the only association, right? If you're a scientist, you know association does not mean anything. Can you explain that? Is that true? Is that it can be associated in many ways? So let's see. All right. That's the study. I'll study. This is the main result. I will show you. This is the data from me. So I came here after 17 years. In 2014, I got allergy myself. And in the first year and a half, that was year-long allergy. The symptom continues and nose congested all the time, couldn't sleep. On the second part of that history, it became seasonal. That means the allergy gets a little bit better. So with my knowledge or suspicion of oral hygiene hypothesis, so at the beginning I started to collect my own samples. So because many people actually suspect stool or gut is related to allergy, I collect those samples as well. But after study, stool sample didn't give any positive result. So this is only saliva sample and the result from those collections.
Sorry, what's Veilonella?
Veilonella, that's right. So Veilonella, that's I will tell you later, briefly, how this study has been done. This is saliva sample, and saliva sample has mostly bacteria, right? So that's the target I want to study. What kind of bacteria are there and how abundant they are. Okay, so in our saliva, usually you have several hundred of different bacteria in it, and some of them are more abundant than the others. Veilonella is one of those bacteria. So the method, we call it sequence, that's the DNA sequence. You don't have to know how to do that. But the method just to tell you what kind of bacteria are there and how abundant they are compared to each other. Okay, so this is one of the bacteria. Veilonella is a bacteria live in our mouth. It's a round ball. That's what I can tell you. So they don't like oxygen and anaerobic. What else?
It's like yeast.
It's bacteria.
No,
It's a bacteria.
Is it a eubacteria?
It's a eubacteria. So what else you want to know? It's
Why
live
that- why
mostly
that?
on the tongue.
Why that bacteria?
Yeah,
Is
why
it the
that
most
bacteria, I don't
abundant?
know. So the result is that this bacteria came out. At that time, I didn't know why this bacteria. Good question, actually. Why is this bacteria? But the observation is that when I had year-long allergy, and the bacteria is relatively less abundant compared to the time when I have seasonal allergy. So that means when my allergy gets less severe, the bacteria actually went up. Is this association or is this a cause? So that's the question, right? So that's the question we want to know. And this is a statistical result of that. It's the same result, just tell you seasonal and the year-long allergy, and it's a significant difference between those two. And so that's the longitudinal study of me. And this is the result of the family. So in the family, there are two of us had allergy, and two of us didn't have allergy. So this is the bacteria, the first bacteria, Veilonella. So you see the same pattern, okay, the same pattern. When you don't have allergy, those bacteria are more abundant. So what's these two bacteria? I found out the same time they are in the same pattern. It's a different bacteria, which is Streptococcus. Streptococcus. This name, you probably most of you know that. Streptococcus. There are many different kind of species. There are good ones or bad ones and things like that. So there are something good varieties, bad varieties, and all together. Okay. But there are two groups of Streptococcus here. They are distributed in the same pattern. So at this point, I still don't know what they are, what they do, and why these two bacteria are associated together and linked to allergies. So what I did is actually I searched on the web and see what they are. Okay, if you put the Streptococcus and Veilonella in Google, and what it gives you is that it tells you they are mutualist. Mutualist means they live closely together and benefit with each other. And when Streptococcus use sugar to produce lactic acid, that's bad for your teeth, right? And the other, Veilonella, use lactic acid to produce other short-chain fatty acid. Short-chain fatty acid are a group of chemicals including lactic acid, propionate acid, things like those. There are 4 or 5 of them. So short-chain fatty acid, that's the chemical I know. Because even before that, when I studied the gut, the gut microbiome, there are lots of study about short-chain fatty acid because bacteria in our gut produce short-chain fatty acid as well. And there are many publications about that. So the function of that, one of the major functions, they can be used by many cells, of course, as energy, but one of the relevant function is they pacify our immune system. Okay, they control our immune system to calm down and don't fight as much. Okay, so now we linked all together, right? We know those two bacteria associated with the allergy, at least for me, for the family. So when we have allergy, those two bacteria is at the low level. So they cannot produce enough short-chain fatty acid, which cannot pacify my immune system enough. So I'll have allergy. So that's the hypothesis, right? That's the hypothesis. The bacteria through short-chain fatty acid caused my allergy. So if this hypothesis is right, can I treat my allergy? So there are, of course, the other way is that you have to confirm this hypothesis by studying many other people. I don't have resource, I don't have money, and I don't have time, didn't have time at all. So I went the other direction, just continue on myself. Continue on myself. Okay.
What about just giving people short-chain fatty acids? Does that help their allergies?
It can help probably within 5 minutes. So the things happening is that short-chain fatty acid can be used by many different cell or tissue as energy. So they will be absorbed by other either blood or cells surrounding that and used up very quickly, very quickly. Okay. So the hypothesis is let me raise the level of those bacteria in me and see if my allergy will be gone. And the effort is, of course, search the literature again and see what the bacteria like and what they can ferment it and use that as energy source to grow. So that's very simple. Many people have studied these two bacteria and they know what they use. And that's including many different kinds of sugars, amino acid, and some fibers, salt. That's almost like you grew bacteria in the lab. So almost, but you can select some of those sugars for this bacteria specifically. So I made those agar pop and then eat it. So what happens, the very short story is that it worked. It worked, very short. I'll tell you a longer story in a bit. So this is the three bacteria I mentioned before, right? And before, after, and this is the control, before, after. In each of the case, so the bacteria, the targeted bacteria went up after eating that agar pop. So it's not 1 day after, it's actually 3 weeks after. Okay, so that means after I ate that lollipop, 3 weeks later, that bacteria still stay at the higher level. So that means it maintained at a quite higher level. So between those 3 weeks, I didn't take that lollipop. Okay, all right, that's the short story. The longer story is that, so it worked. It worked only for, okay.
I'm gonna just cut through here.
Okay, all right.
All right, sorry about that.
No problem. So the longer story is that it worked only for several hours. So after that, I have to take that lollipop again. So that puzzled me actually quite a bit, because if this theory worked, the bacteria should stay there for quite longer. So why the symptoms don't last? So I don't know. This is one of the things happened without my control. And 5 days later, so I actually got fever because my wife, he got flu before me, and I got that virus. So I got fever on Sunday. So I feel weak and kind of I will stay home for the rest several days. I actually take a vacation and for that. Okay. On the second day, Monday evening, when I prepared to sleep, I see my tongue was red through the mirror. So if you study medicine, actually, when people get sick or fever, their tongue will get red. Check it next time. So if you don't get a red tongue when you have fever, that's not a good thing, okay? With this theory. So my tongue gets red, but at that moment, a different message actually came back to me that tells me if you promote this bacteria at this moment, those bacteria will stay for a long time. So why is that? Why at that moment the bacteria will come back up and stay, you think?
Higher temperature.
That's high temperature. Is that right? No? Because the high temperature actually removes the bacteria. Okay, so if you are a gardener or a farmer, where if you have a piece of land to grow anything you want, what do? Flower it.
You get rid of the other things.
That's right.
Actually, you're getting rid of other bacteria that are colonizing your tongue.
That's right, exactly, you got it. So when my tongue gets red, all the different bacteria has gone. All bacteria.
So that's
It's
an
not
inflammatory
100%,
response?
it's probably 99% of them are gone.
It's an inflammatory response, the tongue getting red? What is?
It is the temperature right now. I know that later, at that moment I don't know, but later I know it's the temperature. The bacteria don't like the high temperature, and they don't survive that well. So they're gone. Their eco space is empty. Anything you promoted at that moment will come back up and stay at a higher level. So that's the message I got at that moment. So the next day, on Tuesday, my fever was gone. And right after, in the night, before I sleep, I took two lollipops. Wednesday, that was March 15, 2017. That's the day. I just went to the park, Central Park, and had a meeting for an hour. No feeling of allergy at all. So that was a black-white change for me. So that tells me there has to be something real with this product, with this lollipop. Something has changed in my mouth and controlled my symptom. So that's those things. This is, of course, further development of the fever theory. So because my son was still suffering from allergy, I cannot give the flu virus to him and then have this treatment, right? That's not good. So after a while, I tested many conditions, even went to sauna, things like that. But we eventually used the local therapy. That means use in combination. This is the hot water, this is the cold water. That you can see after 20 minutes rinsing, almost all the bacteria are gone, almost. So later we combine the tongue scraping and they're all gone. So this method worked quite well with the family. So we had 3 experiments, right? 3. One is longitudinal study of me, tell those 2 bacteria are related to allergy. And in the family, very small cross-sectional study, if you can call it, tells you the same thing. And the 3rd, we had translational study, confirm those bacteria actually can cure our allergy. So with that, I just proposed the theory of negative trigger. What do we have? This is describe the general relationship of bacteria and our immune system. it's applied to oral. That's what I found from study of oral condition, but it might apply to gut and skin and other places as well. So what we have is that when we are healthy, of course you have normal temperature and you have enough probiotics. Probiotics in our mouth, in this theory, are those things produce short-chain fatty acid. So they can be different bacteria at different places. In oral, there are Streptococcus and Veilonella. In the gut, they can be many other different bacteria, at least 3 or 4 or 5 different groups. On skin, that's a different one as well. So you have the probiotics produce enough short-chain fatty acid, so your immune system will be under control. See, I'm good. So satisfied, don't find anything, so you're not sensitive to allergies. So that's the healthy stage. So why we have these things? Why we have this mechanism? Why? Because this is the danger world, or this is the world of bacteria, right? World of bacteria. So in the world of bacteria, we want to make peace with the bacteria when we are healthy. But when there's an invader, the pathogen comes, we need to protect ourselves. Okay? To protect ourselves, what's happening here is that when you have any infection, either virus or bacteria, the common symptom is fever. It's fever. It's the most common symptom. No matter where is the infection, even you have infection on your skin, you can have fever as well. So that's temperature inhibit probiotics, and you don't have the short-chain fatty acid, maybe some other chemical as well. And then your immune system just come back up, become powerful and sensitive to the target. At that moment, when you have infection, the most abundant target are pathogens, okay? Pathogens. So hopefully it'll save you, and then you will come back to be healthy, okay? That's right now the situation we are facing in this modern world. You are still healthy, you are still at the normal temperature, but there are lots of different practices reduce those probiotics. In the condition in the oral, that's where we do all those oral hygienes, okay? So brush your teeth probably will be fine, and flossing is okay. The big disruption to the biofilm are mouth washing and tongue scraping. So tongue scraping.
What are they?
Tongue scraping.
Tongue scraping. Yeah. So because the bacteria, most of the bacteria live on the tongue. Okay, 70 or 80% probably. So.
Excuse me, when you say tongue scraping, do you mean actually scraping your tongue, or what about if you is brushing your tongue?
That's the same thing.
Okay.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing. And also we use antibiotics, right? Antibiotics. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. You use antibiotics for many different reasons. I think that most of them probably are proper. We need that, but at the same time, it suppresses the oral biofilm. Good or bad? Once is okay, twice is fine. We need lots of time, at one of the time, that good bacteria probably didn't come back up. And like this. And your immune system will not be pacified enough. And it become too sensitive. And you will have allergy. And in the long run, allergens are the things, are the antigens from outside. You have lots of antigen within. When that happens, that's what we call autoimmune disease. So autoimmune disease and allergy are the same things of two sides. So So it's the same genes. Okay, so this is probably not relevant to, go ahead.
So I just have a question. I mean, is there other evidence to bear out this theory? Like, are the incidents of allergies much less in the third world where they don't get sufficient oral hygiene?
In the third world, they do. They have allergies, but not as common as here. They, like in China, when I was young, I don't hear the allergy words that come. There are allergies, probably as 1% or less. Go ahead.
But how do you know? Because if the
Uh-huh.
medical treatments are not very prevalent, not very advanced, then they may not be worried about just a sniffly nose.
That could be too, but there, you check in the first background slide, you do see that increase. The diagnosis has not changed that much since 70 to 2000 or to now, right? So that's the Western world standard. Yeah. So
I also heard of
and also actually even right now people doing their epidemic study, they go to the developing world to do the comparative study as well. They don't have as much.
So you're saying that these commensal bacteria occupy the sites on the tongue that could be occupied by these bacteria that are good, like these Veilonella and Strep.
Yeah, that Streptococcus and Veilonella, yes, in the healthy people, we know the status. So they are combined together. They occupy about 50%, 40 to 50% in a healthy adult. But in the infant, they could be much more abundant. So, yeah. So this is related to probably the third world, the developing world. When you don't have enough oral hygiene, you could have too much of those things. And the reality is that is some common chronic infection that's happening in the third world. Okay, I think that's the theory. In summary of that is that this things works. Any other questions before we go?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So, I don't know what you think of this, but I had also heard another theory about allergies is how clean our water is, because people used to carry around lots of parasites. So our immune system was more used to dealing with foreign
That's right.
objects.
That's right. And that's one of that. If you read the book of Wall of Absence, so that book actually describes even much broader of these things. And parasite they have a function to pacify the immune system as well. They do. But the parasite is probably secondary. The author actually tried those things. It didn't work well with you. So anyway, so the primary pacifying force for our immune system is, according to this theory, my observation, are the bacteria. So other parasites are probably secondary. Most of people, you probably don't need that.
Right.
So, yeah. So, we want to talk about it? Okay. So okay, go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
We give antibiotics to kids
Okay.
because they have a strep infection,
Yes.
Streptococcus.
Uh-huh.
So when you're talking about this being a good bacteria, I'm confused.
Yeah, Streptococcus is a very big group of bacteria. The pathogenic is probably 1 of 100. So these are different Streptococcus. So this is in the family level. The one you talk about is probably in the either species or strain level. That's probably at least 2 or 3 levels down. So Yeah, they are good battery. So, yes. Any other questions? Okay, so this is the character of this theory, and this tells you the short-chain fatty acid works very locally and in a very short time span. Okay, so that means when you have it, like the question, if you can use short-chain fatty acid to treat that, because it works only in a very short time frame and space, then it works in not well. And also, there has to be some minimum level of concentration of those chemicals so that you can get enough immune system pacification. So, and it works quite effective. That's what I see right now. And with that, with those theory and some of the common knowledge right now, so has been challenged or should be reconsidered. So hopefully this trigger, these probiotics, as you see, they can be probably promoted or suppressed quite easily. That's why we got allergy and some other problems. But if you can apply those principles to your benefit, you can do lots of different things. And with this study, I can see the gut microbiota is probably not that relevant to at least allergic rhinitis, so the common seasonal allergy. And others, and that's where we will talk about the application, okay? And also people have talked about the critical time for the immune system to develop is in the first year or 2 years, something like that. That probably needs to be reconsidered as well. Because if you can change the biofilm to change the reaction of the immune system, where are those critical times? I don't know. We need to recheck those questions. Okay, this is the summary of that. So, 4th stage of that, healthy, allergy, and infection. This is the purpose of the system. Those are the side effects because of the human hygiene practice. So, all right. So I think we are now at 45 minutes. If you want to take a break, these are other sample supplier. Thanks, Em. All right.
Who else had the allergies besides yourself? Was it your wife or one of your children?
Yeah, my son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We can take a break if you need a 5 minutes break. Do you want that?